Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I'm the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Scaling Your Business for Success. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can submit any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the questions section in your GoToWebinar, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this presentation and it will be distributed tomorrow to all attendees, as well as those who registered but were unable to attend today. And finally, we would appreciate your participation in our closing poll and survey. With that said, we're thrilled that you've taken some time out of your busy day to be with us on this webinar. SWK is here to help you fulfill your vision of a smarter and easier way to run your business by providing you tools, support, software, and industry knowledge whenever you need it. So whether you're here to explore a new solution or you're just here to learn, don't hesitate to ask any questions you have while the experts are here. And today we're super excited to have our partners at Workforce Go with us. Our presenters today, me, Courtney Pollock, and then we also have Jessica Morency, Kimber Kremlisch, and Carla Brown on as well today to help with any questions we might have at the end. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Kimber and Jessica for the main event.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us today. We're thrilled to be here and are so grateful to talk about some of the things that we work with the amazing team at SWK on to help their customers really get the most out of their investments in their technology platforms. I'm Kimber Kremlisch. I'm the Director of Channel Development here at Workforce Go. I'm joined by not only our amazing colleagues at SWK, but also Jessica Morency, who is the best that there is as it relates to system knowledge and just overall capabilities and really ensuring your success. So we're thrilled to be here today to talk about how you can scale your business for success and talk through some of the challenges of using old kind of legacy systems or maybe on-prem systems and why you might want to be thinking about moving your systems to the cloud. So Jessica, Courtney, Carla, you all please feel free to jump in. You guys have vast amounts of knowledge on these topics. But most of the customers that we work with that are considering a move from on-prem existing systems to the cloud are really kind of struggling mainly in these four areas. There are other challenges as well, but these are kind of the four most common. The first being data accessibility. One of the limitations of on-prem systems is that it's really hard to mix and mingle the data in those systems with other systems that are out there. They don't tend to have open architecture. There are security and platform limitations that make those systems really difficult to integrate with and allow you to get that data in real time and in a way that is flexible to your needs. Another big area or limitation of on-prem systems is operational efficiencies. Manual processes and on-prem systems tend to go hand in hand. And I know I'm trying to get out from under some manual processes myself. And, they can just really be a soul-sucking way to spend your work time. And there are better ways to do the work and have those systems really work hard and in an efficient manner to run your business and have more operational efficiency in a much more efficient way. Scalability. So as your businesses grow, you need platforms and a technology stack that will grow with your business. And the scalability of cloud-based systems really enables you to do that in an efficient and secure way. So taking that into account and making sure that your infrastructure is not limiting you in your ability to grow your business, and cloud-based systems really allow you to do that. And finally, employee engagement. Employee engagement is when we talk to the clients that we work with, one of the biggest motivating factors. Payroll is often a business's biggest expense. And right now, with the challenges in the labor market and filling and keeping employees in their positions, It's just extremely challenging. So that employee engagement is another great feature of cloud systems that can really help to drive your business for growth. And we always want to, keep in mind that there are always challenges with any system, but technology should make your life easier. It's really that simple. And the cloud-based solutions that our organizations offer are really meant to be here to make your life easier. So we spend a lot of time understanding your requirements, getting to know your business, where are your pain points, what are your priorities, what's your budget, to ensure that we're recommending technology that will make your life easier. So a little bit more about cloud-based systems and some of the benefits that you can get out of a cloud-based system. I mean, a recent study just came out, and it was estimated that companies can save about 15 to 40% on their infrastructure costs just simply by migrating to cloud. So why is that? Well, first, you have no software installation. So your providers will take care of all of the software updates, as well as the initial install, and ensure that those systems are secure and that there is redundancy and disaster recovery planning that goes along with hosting your systems in the cloud. You're also able to save money on licensing costs. There are a lot of flexible licensing options that are available, whether that's with your ERP or your HCM system. But there are different pricing models that can really be applied to help you control those costs and make sure that you're only utilizing the modules that you really, really need for your organization. It tends to be priced only based on the resources that you're used and not on a blanket or one size fits all approach. You also tend to stay away from any of those charges for additional users. One of the greatest benefits of cloud-based systems is the fully mobile capabilities. So that data accessibility from wherever you are is a really great thing. And then the ability to kind of get out from under those product upgrades and some of the more cumbersome projects that your group may be managing for upgrades and testing and that kind of thing. So you can see here, there are lots of benefits to evaluating a cloud-based system. We have a blog article, and I know SWK, you guys have a ton of resources available to help organizations evaluate why moving to the cloud might be the right time for you. So we encourage you to check out those options. So this team worked with an organization called IPI, Industrial Project Innovations, on their move from legacy or cloud-based systems to the cloud. And they were really looking for some simplification and the efficiencies that cloud brings, but their number one challenge that they were looking to solve for was to be able to make more data-driven decisions. The access to data was their number one priority. And this, dream team of Workforce Go, SWK, and Acumatica for their cloud ERP really came together and not only understood IPI's specific and very unique needs, but really helped them to implement systems that allowed them to make better choices for reporting, get real-time access to data for quicker decision making. The seamless integration between the systems was just a really huge benefit to them. The ease of use is another. They really wanted to make sure that they were not only gaining efficiencies, but also saving time and money as it relates to running their everyday processes. And they were able to do that with the recommendations that the SWK team put into place, and then the solutions for Workforce Go and Acumatica. So Jessica and Carla, I know you guys worked very closely with IPI on their evaluation of all the systems. Do you have anything to add to that as to how they were making their decisions and some of the lessons we've learned along the way?
No, I think we'll send out the video also after this, so you guys can see, the testimonial. This is a very happy customer, and I don't know if you have something to add, Jessica. You were part of the deep discovery we did with them.
No, I think this pretty much captures it all as far as what the big pain points were for them and being able to change how they were managing their day-to-day lives. So yeah, I think sending that testimonial video where we can hear it straight from the client is probably going to be a good option for them.
Very good. So if we think about the HCM platform that IPI implemented, Workforce Go was there to help them meet their needs. Workforce Go offers a unified platform for HR, payroll, and timekeeping. We simplify compliance and we allow you to make better, more informed, real-time decisions because of the access that you have to the data that's in your system. The Workforce Go platform provides a single source of truth for all of your employee data. So it is one employee record all the way through the employee's life cycle with your organization, from the moment they may interact with you through the recruiting process, all the way through to onboarding, meeting their HR needs with benefits and other performance management, engagement activities and things like that. We also have the ability to help capture time and make sure that the rules of your organization are being enforced with that time capture. And then all of the areas as it relates to payroll processing that allow you to kind of get out from under those, manual processes, if you will. So just anything that I left out there on the Workforce Go platform?
Nope, you did a great job, Kimber, as always. And as I get into showing you guys some of the system, you're going to see how all of this kind of comes together in one platform. And it's truly very simplified to manage different areas of the employee's life cycle with you. Whether you need one piece and not the other, we can do things in a very modular way to best fit your specific requirements. So no, I think you did a great job. We'll talk more about it when we get into the system itself.
Awesome. Well, as you look at the individual components, what really makes the compelling use of the systems that are available to you is the integration and the data touch points that are available between the Workforce Go system and the ERP that you may be considering. So in IPI's case, they went with Acumatica. That it allows them to share employee data between the two systems. We can look at the cost center, branches, accounts, sub-accounts, project and task information, and pull that back over from the ERP into Workforce Go for time capture. And then when we run our payroll, we're able to send that journal entry back over to the accounting system so that you don't have duplicate data entry there. We also have integrations to other ERPs. Sage Intacct is another cloud-based ERP system that the integration is kind of the same or similar, but these are all really, really great advantages of using cloud-based systems that seamlessly work together. So just with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to you. Okay. Yeah. So we'll
Thank you. And sorry, sure. I lost connection, I think, too, for a little bit. So if you were waiting for me to speak,
no worries.
I was like, did we lose Kimber? Nope, we lost me apparently. All right, so I'm going to share and get this right here. All right, so with the Workforce Go platform, Kimber's shared about how moving into a more cloud-based platform helps in a variety of ways. And this platform being 100% in the cloud takes off all of that overhead. You have the support of the folks at SWK, the folks here at Workforce Go, to help with anything that you need. So it does lighten up the load on your IT department, even just from a data management, but also, if you're having them write reports, because there's a complex reporting system that you have in place today, you're going to see that kind of a lot of that's going to go away. So it does, if for any of the IT folks on the call today, may lighten up your load a little bit to help, put some of that in the hands of the HR and payroll folks, because it's more easily accessible and usable. So this system is also behind the scenes just one employee record. And that means that if you change a pay rate, if you hire somebody or terminate them or do something that impacts multiple areas of, say, payroll or time or HR, you don't need to touch 6 different places. It's you update it once and it goes across to all areas that it needs to be impacted, that need to be impacted by that change. So I'm going to take you through probably about a 10-minute or so, just kind of walk through of the platform in various ways to kind of show you some examples of how a cloud-based system is going to potentially change what you might be using today if you have multiple systems or if you're doing some more manual processes. And we'll spend the next 10 or so minutes just kind of talking through some of that as a real world example of what a system might look like. So first of all, with ours, it is entirely brandable. So your color could change, your logo up here, all of that can change. You'll have your opportunity to have your own dashboards. So if you decide, you know what, you're into data analytics and you want to see turnover, you want to see turnover in different ways, you want to see your diversity reporting and that sort of thing. All of those are just standard reports that you might pull into a dashboard. You might just mine the data in other ways. But that is part of the power of having a cloud-based platform with the complexity that we bring, is that you can pull all these different types of things into the information that is so needed today with the changing of how employees are moving from job to job and keeping them engaged and keeping them on your payroll. A lot of times these analytics will help drive some of those metrics as far as what you might see or what may help keep employees engaged and that sort of thing. So you have a lot of different data analytics that you might be able to bring to the table. If we're looking at different areas, you could have different dashboards up here, but you'll be able to create and kind of slice and dice information to meet whatever your specific requirements are. So the reporting is incredibly easy to use. It does not require that you know anything about it, the back-end database or any of that. It's simply going to be manipulating what you see on screen. Again, the difference between the legacy on-prem solutions where you've got to write a SQL query or you have to pull in crystal reports or do something of that type of nature. The web-based, cloud-based is far more simplified as far as the reporting is concerned. It does also bring to the table a company intranet or a hub where you could choose to use this for company announcements or information that you want to share. You can post out here a Google Doc and have them sign up for their potluck, but it's a way for you as an employer to, again, keep your employees engaged, provide them information that is important to them. And we do see a lot more of a trend in these last year or two of keeping people socially engaged as we work more remotely. These types of things are becoming more and more common for us to hear from clients that, hey, we're going to need this kind of a capability to share or have some interaction with our staff. So that does come with the HR. That's not a separate piece at all. And then below that in my setup, I have a quick link or favorite, and I'll go into some of these again, just to give you kind of a basic understanding of how the tool can kind of bring everything together. But through this, I think I only have 6 little buttons, but I could have 10 of them. I could change the pictures. So if you had your own company specific logo or pictures you wanted to put in, you could. And then below that, I have all of my quick links or favorites. So the nice thing about a system like this, as well as also sometimes the bad thing, is that there is a lot we can do. And to help you get in and get out and get to what you need, or even get your managers or your employees to what they need in a quick fashion, sometimes creating these lists of most commonly used areas of the platform or reports, or even like I've got under safety here, I've got my third-party website for my GEICO workers' comp policy. So you can really make it easy for you to say, here's what I get into a lot. Maybe though you have a year-end project and you want to pull in your ACA reports as a separate year-end tab, or maybe a separate year-end button. So it's quick and easy for you to do what you need as you get into those things multiple times throughout the year-end processes. So that kind of thing helps streamline how you interact with your information, because everything would be in the platform. You're not going to be going to multiple systems. You're not going to go to a filing cabinet or to a shared SharePoint drive where you're pulling up your documents and all of that. Everything's going to be in here, and you can make it easy for yourself to figure out where you need to be and what's the most common thing that you're going to be using on a day-to-day basis. We do also have a library of widgets. So, depending on the preference, perhaps this is how you prefer to access information. And this will depend also on what you have in place for software capabilities, as well as to, what your level of access and security is. So these different types of widgets, and there's a library of them, could be added or removed as you see fit. From an employee standpoint, I'm going to log in as Josh and just give you a sample of what an employee experience might look like. I should also point out as I'm doing this, so I'm logging in as the employee. Kathy was my administrative user, so now I can log in as an employee. If you have staff that is not technologically inclined, they are perhaps hesitant to use it, they don't have their own smartphone, you hire people quickly, you need them to, sit down and fill out paperwork electronically quickly, you could choose to do what I've just done and say, all right, I'm going to log in as you. Let me have you complete your paperwork, or let me help you with the time off request that you need to do, or whatever that needs to be. So as HR administrators, we sometimes need to do a bit more hand holding to help employees get to where they need to be. So you could choose to do like I just did and manage it that way to be of service to your employees. This is also fully mobile accessible. So anything that you or the employees or the managers can do on the website can also be done on a downloaded mobile app that's on their phone or tablet. So they can interact with it if it's your choice to have them fill things out at home or do things at their own pace, benefit enrollment, that sort of thing. They can do it at home on a computer or a tablet. All of that is a choice that you can make as far as how you want to deploy that. But again, keeping the access to the people that need it when they need it. This also can be put into other languages. As we think about self-service, not everybody is natively speaking English. We might want it Spanish or French, or if we have other language requirements, we can translate the website using Google Translate. But the app and the native tech natively translates into Spanish, French, and I think there's even Dutch is the other one, which I haven't yet had a client ask me for that, but it's there. So as a basic employee record, you'll see here, I've just got my company hub and I have that. I don't have dashboards. I don't have reports. I don't need that. I don't have shortcuts because there's not too much else I'm going to do. But I do have several widgets here, and this is what I most commonly as an employee might interact with. So I've got my checklist where I can say, this is my onboarding. I'm going to go through and complete any onboarding tasks or documents that have been assigned to me. Your onboarding documents, again, if you're doing it via paper today, which is nearly 90% of the clients I end up speaking to are doing paper onboarding still, or paper benefit enrollments, and that's really where we start to see some of the value in adding web-based, cloud-based systems to the mix. So this would allow your employees to see any form that they're doing on paper today as an uploaded fillable PDF. For each document they need to complete, you can put instructions, you can have them add notes, they could do attachments. There's a little paper clip everywhere you see that. You can attach documents, pictures, and videos. They can have a document attachment that they have to download to review. And then when they're done, in this case, it's a handbook acknowledgement, they would sign off on it. I've already done that here, just to give you an example. I've also embedded a link to a YouTube video. So I have a welcome video I can link to, or I could embed in the onboarding process. Again, onboarding, as we all know, is not just filling out a piece of paper. For some it is, but not for all. So you might have them do a welcome video or embed it in here. The state and federal W-4s, they can see the ones that apply to them. If you're in multiple states, you could allow them to see multiple ones like I have here. I've got federal, I've got New York. If I were to add new, I can see the other ones that I have available to me. We maintain these types of forms. Any other document you need them to complete, you just upload and make fillable, similar to a DocuSign or Adobe Sign. Employees can complete their own direct deposit, adding as many as they need, or going through a pre-note, all of that. They can also go through benefit enrollment. So if you're doing a paper enrollment process today, I've got several here just because I've done a few demos this week, and it's only Tuesday. So if you want to have them go through electronic open enrollment, you certainly can, and they'll go through, see their instructions. They can see, as I've already started doing the enrollment over here, what I've elected or waived, and any benefit plan that you have for them, even if it's the commuter, the AFLACs, the ancillary HSAs, FSAs, and those types of things. All of those we can put in here for benefit enrollment. What I commonly hear, and I'll mention at this point for benefit enrollment specifically, what I commonly hear is that people are using their broker's website, which is typically Employee Navigator, the old Ease portal, the Bernie portal. If they have an online tool like that, you can think about bringing it in-house if that's your preference, if you have the right staff to manage that, or we can just link them out to that third-party website if that's the preference. So we can be flexible too, as far as what we deploy and when we deploy it. And then in my case, I also have training assigned. So automatically I'm assigned as a new hire these particular training classes. You as an administrator don't need to think about it. If there's an incident or something that happens, you need to assign some training. You can assign it ad hoc. You can have groups of training reassigned and all of that. So the learning management component is a pretty cool piece. And if I just click on the open, it brings me straight to the content that I need to consume and then the testing that needs to be done. You can have libraries that they search through. You can have your own in-person training that you have them sign off. Yep, I did this as an in-person training that we had last Friday. So all of those things we can, as part of the learning component of Workforce Go, we can help manage a lot of those different pieces. So with the onboarding, you may decide you want to do, like I've got down here, a third party or a 30-day check-in. So I've got surveys that are part of, and we'll just pretend that's not submitted. But maybe you have a 30-day check-in, a 60-day, a 90-day, again, trying to make sure that we get the right people in place and that we have them engaged and we're getting feedback. Maybe you send this to a manager. But as part of HR, you can define your own surveys and send those out where it's applicable. You can have different metrics, agree to disagree, rating scales, free form text, multiple choice, single choice, whatever you need for that type of thing. So just getting, again, as I commonly hear people coming off of legacy systems, the onboarding has always been a manual piece for people because it just wasn't part of it. The technology wasn't there to collect signatures and all of that. So it is now, it is here, it is legally acceptable for these signatures to be done. So onboarding is a very significant part of what I hear from clients in their requirements. So we've got that covered. We've got your time off requests and approvals. We have multiple ways they can clock in and clock out, where they're doing it from their mobile device with geofence or geolocation. We can also do after the fact time entries. Supervisors can enter time on behalf of their staff. It can be done, as intricately as we need to for even the California folks, which we know have the most complex labor laws. So we can get into a lot of complexity when it comes to the time management, how we're doing all of the different pieces there, from time off and overtime and holidays and that sort of thing. For anybody that may be on the line, as we kind of just to touch on that, anybody that's on the line that has construction payroll requirements, I'll just point out too that we do have a construction utility that does allow us to do union reporting and calculation of fringe packages. We can do prevailing wage and fringe offset packages, certified payroll, LCD tracker. So we do have through the payroll and time piece the complexity to adhere to your CBA requirements, your fringe rate reports, and all of that needs to go into construction payroll specifically. The other thing I'll point out here is, just as I'm on as the employee, pretty similar or pretty common things: pay stub, looking at their pay stubs, updating direct deposits, looking at and updating their tax statuses and W-4s, they're looking at their W-2s. But this total comp statement, this I hear a lot from clients. So I want to make sure that you guys kind of see what this looks like here. Again, from an employee engagement standpoint, managing or giving them rather access to information. This is a total comp statement that comes with payroll. So you can put your own little message out here. You can then share different data that you think is important, and you can kind of pick and choose some of these settings. But you're showing them their total comp or percent of benefits in a compensation as a percent or as a dollar amount. We can show them specific breakdown of the total comp, again by percent or dollar. And then we have the ability to pull in time off information, the employer portion of benefits, retirement and the employer match, discretionary bonuses. So this, again, if it's something that you guys are striving towards because it's become such a hot topic for people to be able to provide this, this comes with the payroll piece of Workforce Go. Okay. And again, they can get all of this from their mobile phone, and it just is a choice for you as to what you allow them to see and do. As far as the rest of the pieces, I'm just going to touch on those quickly to just give you an idea of what they look like, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you guys may have. As far as the employee side of things, all of the compliance is, if you're at a stage of needing EEO or VETS reporting, all of that's included. Again, a lot of times that's manual when you don't have a more modern cloud-based system. We also handle incident, disciplinary actions, workers' claim, OSHA reporting, standard stuff for the basic HR package that we offer. The benefits in the ACA, we've kind of talked about that. Going through and doing performance reviews, goal setting, KPIs, we can do all of those if it's a requirement that you have, if it's even just tracking one-on-one communications. But again, allowing people to put notes in and have some place to track that is just not something that many systems have had in the past. The other thing we can track with the HR is who you've assigned cell phones and laptops to, company vehicles. We can assign or track rather your credentials and driver's licenses and all of that, and be able to monitor any area of the system for data changes, for changes that need to occur, reminders that need to go out, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different ways that we can kind of think about HR and payroll and time, and a lot of different areas we could get into. But from a overview perspective today, I think I'll pause here and ask if there's any questions or anything that any of the audience members specifically would like to see or talk more about from the discussion today.
Thank you, Jessica. I think we've had a few questions come in, so we can go ahead and ask those. But if you have not had a chance to get your question in yet, now is a good time. So while we wait for those additional ones, of one we did have come in during the presentation, you know, and I don't know that it's, you know, definitely a demo question, but this person asked, you know, my business is growing significantly within the next year. So how can you go into more details on how these can help me achieve those goals if they're growing?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So after you hit a certain employee count, you know, 50 is the starting point for adding some more compliance. So depending on where you're starting from and where your plans are to grow, and if you've grown through acquisition, you're growing through, you know, business changes where you're needing to add headcount organically as time goes on, the growth and allowing your base processes to be in place in a system, that's going to help as you add new headcount. And again, depending on what your growth is looking like, what that trajectory is looking like, having the baseline processes in place help you to ensure that as things may get a little crazy during these growth periods, you have the processes, the reminders, all of that is in one place. You don't have to say, oh, wait a minute, that was on Barbara's desk and now she's on vacation. I need to go find that because I'm supposed to do this with it. Instead of having to kind of do the craziness as things grow and change, you have the baseline system, you have the baseline processes, you have your approvals in place, you have all of that groundwork done so that when you're scaling, you don't need to scurry and figure out how things are working. You'll have that in place already. So I would say if you have a growth plan, don't wait until you're in the throes of actually adding 60 employees at once. Do it sooner so that you can be ready for that growth when it does come.
And I would just add that with most cloud-based systems, Workforce Go included, you can kind of start with what you need today and then add the things that you're going to need that Jessica mentioned as you grow. You can get in front of it, but you can also take more of a phased approach. And your SWK counterparts can really help you with a plan to add the right technology as you think that your growth is, kind of coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And on the opposite side of growth or combined with it, this person says they're at a company that is less than 100 employees. So efficiency, is going to be key there. They'd like to know if you can walk through implementation a little bit. They said they have limited time and resources, and they're worried about, implementation, how implementation will look.
Yeah, so that's going to be a question that would be more specifically answered by the SWK team as the project is defined and the scope is understood. But as a general practice, when we think about a project, it's going to follow a few key pillars, and the first being evaluating and deciding what's the right scope of work for you now and maybe phasing in things later depending on what your own bandwidth is. If you're limited on staff, I always err on the side of phasing things in so that you can be successful in the initial start of what you're putting in place, having the time to focus where you need, not trying to do too much at once. Again, when you're a smaller staff, you're going to need to be a little bit more involved in some of the different areas. So keeping that minimalized is always helpful. As things are progressing, you've decided what your scope and what you're able to take on from a project standpoint. From there, we go into a very detailed design phase. And that's where, as you think about a project now or in the future, if you don't have automated processes in place, if you don't have documents that you're happy with, that legwork, doing that up front as time permits to prepare for a major project is going to benefit you in spades because you'll already have that thought process done. A lot of times we see projects delay because, well, we need to get the group together and decide, well, what do we want the onboarding process to be? Do we want to automate this? How is that going to look? And what does the form need to be? And legal needs to review this. And so getting a lot of that legwork done up front is going to benefit that particular part of the project. And we design the system with your needs in mind. It's not a cookie cutter, here's what you get. There's standards in place, but if you have a need or a preference for something different, we take those into consideration so that we're bringing you the system that you need. So the decision on what you're going to put in place, the prep and the legwork getting done so that we can get that design of the system to meet your needs, and then being able to dedicate the training of that. And we do have options, and SWK's got options for training as far as what's included with a particular project, what you might need over and above, how you feel the training delivery should be done to best accommodate what your team's needs are. So the training and the testing and all of that is truly also just a big part of the project so that you can get comfortable with it, taking on as much or as little as your needs are.
And I'll just add to that, there's also a big part of the coordination with the other systems that you may be using. So if there's integration to be done, the SWK team will do a fantastic job of really coordinating that effort, making sure that timelines align, that we're paying attention to settings in both systems that really need to be, looked at carefully. So I think that is another great benefit of kind of looking at your technology stack in totality with the team at SWK. And just since we're getting tight on time, if I may ask you to just spend a little bit more time on the integration, make sure that we cover those points. I think that would be helpful.
Certainly. So a big part of why, and I don't know if you can pull up the integration slide again.
Yeah.
I don't have that on mine, but if you want to, I don't know if I can stop sharing. Or if you're just able to take it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So a big part of why clients are or part of the project rather that we get brought into, and why clients are doing this is because they're looking at the whole tech stack. It's time to update everything. And so the ERP, of course, is a big deal for that. And the clients that have needs for more advanced reporting on the accounting side, whether it's your job costing or project accounting, you have a detailed journal, or maybe you have um, a process at the end of the month where you go and do I'm losing the word. I want to call it a burden, and that's not it. It's the accrual. Thank you, accrual. So whether it's the accrual at month end, and if all of those are manual processes, that's a lot of times where we come in and can do, updates from Acumatica, Intact, or some of the other systems, where we could say, we're going to take in any of your jobs and projects, accounts, sub-accounts, dimensional values, cost centers, whatever you label them, whatever you call them, whether it's one EIN or multiple, we can pull those in, and that reduces the duplicate data entry. It allows us to have more detailed time entry allocations. We can burden out deductions and taxes. So that's a very valuable piece. And oftentimes when clients have that level of complexity, we fit really well there so that we can kind of bring that to the table. Post payroll, again, if you're doing manual processes, if your payroll is separated from your accounting, if your HR is separated from payroll, you're going to be spending a lot of time keeping things up to date. And with our capabilities to define a detailed journal where needed, multi-EINs, journal sends, all of those different things we can create to your needs and then automatically push over into, in our case, Acumatica or Intact. So those are allowing us to really, keep that in sync without you needing to really be involved, without needing to do complex journal entries manually or the month-end accruals manually. I've talked to clients that have said it takes them 20, 30 hours to sort through it all because they've got a number of employees and quite a load to try to figure that out. So there's a lot of efficiencies that are gained by having an integrated time payroll HR with an accounting system.
Awesome.
Well, and I think, unless I see a last minute submission here, I think we might be able to go on to the end. I think that kind of concludes our questions.
Okay.
We do, before we say our thank yous, we do want to just ask one quick poll, asking, what are your next steps? We went into a good amount of detail here, but as always, there is, specifics to be had once we discuss what solution you're currently on, and those problems particular to you and your business. So if you want to get a little bit more information specific to your business and how your company runs, let us know. And if you're just here to learn today, that is great as well. And so I'm going to close this out in just a second. And then, I think we just want to say a quick thank you. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us on this session. And thank you, Jessica and Kimber, for diving into those details and letting us know a little bit more about the power of cloud ERP and HCM.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
the
having us.
opportunity. Yeah. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.